everyone, welcome back to another edition of Homemade, and today we are baking just a regular red velvet cake. Now I know sometimes this cake can be intimidating to some people, but I promise you it is so easy to make. And to prove how easy it is to make, again, we are going to mix this with our hand mixer. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, one of the ingredients that we will use in this recipe is hot coffee. You do have to make sure that your coffee is hot. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our half cup of vegetable shortening. We're not going to use butter for this recipe. We are going to use our Imperial. And please note that all of our cold items are at room temperature. That's very important. It does help with the texture of your cake. And I'm going to cream this on high. Once we've creamed our Imperial and our vegetable shortening, we will start to add in our sugar slowly. We don't want to dump it in all at one time. Now that we've mixed that for a few minutes, we are going to add in our 4 eggs, and we're going to add those in 2 at a time. I'm going to add in my tablespoon of vanilla and my 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. A minute or so, just to get our cocoa incorporated. Now we are going to rotate our flour and our milk. So I'm going to put half of my flour in, and for this we have the 2.5 to half ratio, meaning we have 2.5 cups of self-rising flour, 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. Our rising agents are 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So that's already sifted in with my flour. I'll pour in. This is not 1 cup of milk. That is 3/4 cups of whole milk. I put in 3 tablespoons of food color. I'm perfectly okay with the color that it gives me. You can put in anywhere from 1/2 tablespoon to 1 tablespoon of vinegar. When you pour your coffee in, you want to add it in slowly, and you don't want your mixer on high speed. To achieve the cake crumbs, I just flour a regular 6-inch pan. I don't have a cake strip around it, and I put a little of my cake batter in here, and I let it bake just as I would the rest of my cakes. Once it comes out and it cools down, then you just take the cake and you crumble it up, and that gives you your cake crumb effect. And you don't have to fill this one all the way up as if you were making a layer for your cake. You just want it to have enough batter in it to be able to create those cake crumbs. We have literally mixed a cake and prepared it to get ready to go in our oven in less than 10 minutes. And we didn't use a box. I'm going to put these into the oven to bake on 350 degrees for 25 minutes. After the 25 minutes, if they're not done, then I will come back and set my timer for another 5 minutes. We are about to prepare our cream cheese frosting and go ahead and start frosting our cake. I'm going to go ahead and cream the cream cheese by itself before I add it to the butter and sugar mixture. Right now, I am going to take 1 stick of Blu Bonnet Margarine. I am not using butter for this recipe. 1. So we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of clear vanilla. And I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Now we're going to add our cream cheese into this mixture in 2 increments. So I'm going to add half, mix it a little bit, and then I'm going to add the other half. We have our cream cheese frosting. I'm just going to take a dollop of my frosting. We have our red velvet cake that is homemade. Not make this from a box. This is a genuine homemade red velvet cake that took us all of 8 or 9 minutes to mix with our hand mixer. We didn't use a stand mixer or anything. You all, this cake is so moist. I mean, just the texture of my cake crumbs is awesome. Look at this cake. Now, I cannot cut it because this is for an event. When you make this cake, make sure you drop your pictures, drop your comments. Let me know what you liked about the cake, how it turned out for you, the icing, whatever. Let me know about your experience. I know I did not say it earlier, but don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel if you want to keep seeing our easy homemade recipes. Cooking, it's as easy or as hard as you make it. But I promise you, if you keep it simple and just be yourself, life in itself can be so much easier. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Homemade. And until next time, continue to be great.